Madame Web movie is the worst ever.
You got me.
In this video, I will be brutally honest with Sony and the movie. Imagine that you are a filmmaker, but you are constrained and do not have the freedom to be creative in your ideas. Similarly, Sony is also constrained because it does not have the right to turn the entire comics into a movie due to restrictions imposed by Marvel. I think Marvel is to blame for the movie flop because Sony wasn't allowed to feature anything Spider-Man related. Marvel wanted to safeguard Spider-Man's image because Marvel already knew that Sony would fail in the movie. Before we start watching the video, how did Marvel predict that Sony would fail in the movie? And did Sony fail because it did not have the rights to the story of Spider-Man? Or were there other reasons? But now allow me to provide you with a brief overview of the storyline. What's the story?
Well, the Madame Web that we know in the comics is an older woman in a wheelchair, and we're meeting Madame Web in the beginning of her getting her powers. So it's her origin story. It's before she has her accident, which has her powers kick in, which causes her powers to kick in. She's a paramedic, so she's kind of an everyday hero already.
The movie storyline, the character of Madame Web, who is known to be one of the strongest characters in the comics and is crucial to Spider-Man due to her ability to predict the future. However, in this particular film, her character is portrayed as unpleasant and seems to be driven by the ideals of feminism.
Wow, the power of women.
It's almost like watching a superhero movie, but without any real superheroes. The movie is a blatant copy of The Terminator. The plot revolves around a girl who protects weaker girls from a much stronger villain, mirroring the plot of The Terminator. Some may question whether Sony or Marvel should bear the blame for the movie flop, but let me illustrate my point with an example. The essence of the writer's approach in Attack on Titan, the story of the people of Ymir and Marley, where everyone is right and wrong. Certain aspects of Madame Web led to its failure. So through the idea of the writer of Attack on Titan, I will explain this in detail at the end of the video, so be sure to watch until the end. But now let me talk about the heroine Dakota Johnson in the characters section, but I will talk without emotion. The character? 1. Dakota Johnson.
Cassie, I need you at the triage.
The character of Madame Web makes you feel pros throughout the movie. Unlike other superheroes who do not complain much, Madame Web complains a lot. Moreover, superheroes typically behave appropriately, even in difficult situations, but the heroine in this movie is unsure. In one scene of the movie, the protagonist is unsure of what to do.
The fuck?
So, she asked the other girls accompanying her for suggestions. But if the main character is clueless about how to proceed, who will take charge because even the other girls are weak? In another scene, Ben meets Madame Web, who tells him something related to the famous quote, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Enough!
It is enough to use this sentence to attract viewers and compensate for any losses that were suffered. I believe Dakota Johnson didn't quite succeed in her performance because she didn't appear committed to it and seemed disinterested in both the role and the movie. Moreover, in an interview, Dakota Johnson evaded any inquiries related to the film, which could be another factor contributing to her lack of success in the role. If you stick around until the end of the video, I'll delve into explanations about these reasons. 2. The Three Girls.
Wait, I recognize you. You live in my building.
You're the paramedic.
Yeah, you almost ran me over.
You don't think this is weird? How we're all connected?
Sydney Sweeney, Isabella, and Emma Roberts. I was not impressed with their characters in the movie. If you are a fan of The Walking Dead, this example may help you understand that I was not influenced by these girls. Do you remember when Rick saved the hilltop while they were in a dire situation? However, over the course of many seasons, we began to learn more about their story and could relate to their emotions. The three girls in this movie are like the hilltop, but we don't know their story yet. Unlike with the hilltop, in this movie, I'm not as interested in understanding their emotions and personalities. Each of the three girls has a difference in personality. However, their characters are not well understood by the audience. The intended message for the viewer is that the girls will become superheroes in the future, but presently, they are just ordinary individuals. I do not believe that the writers made me influenced by the girls. But were you influenced by the girls' characters in the movie or not? Is it any weak? 1. Who is responsible for the failure of the movie? There have been reports indicating that the decrease in this movie's success could be connected to adjustments made to the script after Dakota Johnson was chosen for the role. It seems that filmmakers decided to remove scenes during editing, which resulted in a shift in the storyline. In an interview promoting the movie, Dakota Johnson appeared to hint that the film might not be worth seeing. She steered clear of discussing details about the movie, seemed to detach herself from it. It almost felt like she was subtly suggesting that maybe we shouldn't rush to watch it in the cinema. The movie's lack of success can be attributed to its production, with Sony cutting out scenes. Viewers can easily spot these flaws while watching the film. Some scenes are poorly edited, there are cuts, and between shots, certain scenes drag on, lose the audience's interest, and the dialogue lacks impact, and should have been revised or removed. It seems that Sony has been facing problems with Marvel, which has resulted in some limitations for Sony in using any scenes or hints related to Spider-Man. The reason for this is that Marvel does not want to risk damaging Spider-Man's reputation due to a failed movie. Because Spider-Man is still one of the most popular heroes in Marvel, Marvel has prevented Sony from using any Spider-Man related content for the time being, because she doesn't want to tarnish Spider-Man's reputation. The crux of this conversation is that both Marvel and Sony share the blame for the film downfall. Sony fell short in capturing the essence of superheroes, while Marvel didn't grant Sony rights to the comics. This situation is likened to Attack on Titan, where both Marley and Ymir bear responsibility. Same thing here, the team at Sony felt comfort zone with the decision not to turn the entire comic book series into a movie, so I think the failure of the film was everyone's responsibility. I have a request, and I hope you can help me. It's really hard when you put all your time and effort into something you love and it doesn't work. So, I was hoping you could help me by just sharing my video. If you can subscribe to my channel, click like and leave a comment. It will help me publish the video and it will reach other people, and my dream will come true. Your support means a lot to me. 2. The villain. I'd like to share my thoughts about the villain in the movie. I think that the villain was quite weak and unimpressive. I don't believe it's worth making memes about. Unlike Morbius, the evil character in Morbius is much better than the evil character in Madam Web. I believe that the filmmakers of the movie Madam Web were primarily interested in the villain's appearance and sound effects, but did not give much thought to the dialogue. In my opinion, every sentence that the villain utters is nonsensical, such as, "I am the strongest," "You will see hell," "I will kill you all," and "Run away," and another bold shit.
So shit, man. Fuck it.
Villain in the movie who failed to embody his character well. This villain was a distorted and despicable version of Spider-Man. He lacked charisma. To make up for this, they added a voiceover. However, even the voiceover was not good enough. There was a mistake in the movie where the sound came before the video. This occurred when the villain spoke, but the sound came out late and was not compatible with the mouth movement. This mistake showed how little the studio cared about the quality of the movie. The studio became too in comfort zone, because he knows the film's failure as Marvel didn't grant him all the powers. What is my rate? After I watched the movie, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone because it didn't seem worth the time. Both Marvel and Sony are to blame for the downfall of the film. Sony failed to capture the essence of superheroes, and Marvel didn't grant them rights to the comics. The failure of the film was a result of everyone's responsibility. So my rating for the movie is 4 out of 10. Don't forget to tell me your rating out of 10, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.